The first thing we're gonna do, this whole workout today is really just, I don't know what you want to call it, agility, comfort, skating strength. So in the end, skating has to become instinctive. Like no matter how much you practice the drills, the different exercises, the correct movements on shoes or in skates, when something happens in a race, if there's a car driving in front of you, if you get tired at the end of an effort, very often if you do races you end up getting tired, it has to be so natural to you. And there's a reason when you teach a 5-year-old how to skate, they're gonna be brainless in a good way. They're just gonna go out there like, oh, I have no fear of crashing, crashes, it's fine, they do it again. And that's how they pick it up. The older you get, the more conservative and scared you get, the more it's gonna be. And we need to get to the point where it just happens. Like, don't think too much about it. For me personally, growing up, by far, it's been my biggest issue. I'm tall, and I grew up skating already when I was young with adults, and they were not world champions in skating. They were this kind of adults. So like, I would grow up skating way too long, and it was more like the way you run, the way you bike, where I just switched my brain off. And that's not gonna make you good in this way. Like, you need to be agile, comfortable. One of the best things I feel like you can teach kids, go play basketball with your skates on. Play hockey, play football, do backward skating, street skating. I think it's super cool seeing how many of you are wearing street skates, urban skates. Like, if you can skate slalom backwards, that might be better than being able to do this on shoes for an hour. So we're gonna wake up some of that instinct of being a good skater. So the first thing we're gonna do for warm-up is what I just said. We're just gonna stand on one leg for a minute. It's okay if you can't, but these are the things where, like, teach yourself how to do this. If you can do that, say if you have the perfect skating position, but your ankles are weak or your knees can't hold them up, it won't matter if you're down here or up here, because you're just not comfortable on your skates. Like, it's very simple. Like, a straight thing is very easy. If you push straight to the side, it's gonna be a good power transfer. If it's like this, it's a lot of power loss here. And all of that comes with just being naturally strong in the skating muscles. And that's what we're gonna do. So the warm-up exercise is stand on one leg for a minute. You can do it in any way you want. You can use your arm, you can use the other leg, you can scoot around, but try and see if you can just stand. Yeah, I should probably time this. All right, let's start with the left leg. 1 minute standing. Anything you feel like you need to. If you need to get down in skating position, you can do it. If you want to jump around, one wheel, anything works. That was 20 seconds. And you can always push it a little more. If you think about it, like, the ground is on fire, your foot will burn. It's okay to feel dumb, okay to look dumb. Nice. Or 15 more seconds. Oh, we got some stuff here. All right, pause. Did some of you feel a bit of like shins, calves, ankles? It's hard. Yeah. Yeah. Some arms also a little. Everything worked. It's like, imagine if you use your body well, skating a whole marathon, you use your calves, you use your shins to be on top of your skates, to not collapse anywhere. That's a long time, and this was just 1 minute. So maybe not the worst exercise to get warm. So if you're good on your outer edge, this becomes a little easier, because if you're standing here, you don't really have any leverage. This leg can only pull you down. But if you're standing here, well, then you can really just guide with the other to where you want the weight to be. The next little warm-up exercise, kind of the same thing. We're gonna roll from one end to the other, skate normal back, and then do it again, but this time just on the front wheels. Speaking of calves, So like if this is too scary or it can't, it's just not possible, you can still put a lot of weight on the front and try and feel almost as if you're lifting off. Yeah. We're gonna do it twice. One time you put one leg in front and then we get back, and then next time is the other. So we get both. 3 steps and then roll. All right, let's go. Points, extra points for slalom. This was the calves, now it's gonna be the shins. So same, but the opposite. Gonna take a few steps and then go with the heels. And the other way. One thing that is super important in all kinds of skating is you don't want to push with 2 legs at the same time. So only one leg should push. Say if you're doing a crossover, if you're still here and trying to push here, it's going to be super hard because you only have your muscle. But if you're fully on this, it's easier to push. Same goes with the straightaway. If you finish your push and you're already here, that's going to be hard. If you're just in that, it's going to be easy. So in order to do that, it also has to be so natural and so comfortable that you're just on to the next leg without worrying like, oi, where am I going? So next one is gonna teach you to definitely find the immediate thing. We're gonna do 180s. So very street, that skate. It starts spinning a little. So if this is very difficult to do the jump, you can kind of cheat a little with like using the wheels. So to not get too tilty, we're gonna do one way, the same side around. So like that, like that, like that. And then going back, it's only gonna be the opposite. Lesson for this one is just like all skating, kind of whole idea of like finish your push before you move on to the next push. Because those of you that struggle a little with like making the whole way around is because before you actually jump and push, you're already starting to turn. So like, if I'm here and I start doing this, it's gonna be really hard for me to push. Whereas if I do a jump, there's plenty of time to turn around. So just like normal skating, even though you wanna go forward, don't rush it. Still like proper pushing and you'll go fast. For the next 4 exercises, it's gonna be very similar, but just different degrees of difficulty. And it's all about the same thing, learning to find control and balance immediately. Like we don't have time to get wobbly or out of position. So they're all gonna be rolling, and it's just gonna be, the first one is really just in your position, right, skating position, switch from one leg to the other as fast as you can. And just as fast as you can. Yeah, so it's not like you still have to get fully on to that position. So and do it in a stable position, so it shouldn't be it should be a very smooth. So I'm gonna demonstrate.
The leg is down from your body or pushing to the side?
It is just weight transfer, so there's no actual push. Yeah, exactly. So first start by just finding the right position, and then and if all of you is in that correct position, there's no reason when I switch from this to this that my balance should go anywhere out of this. Like that's the same as when you walk, you don't need balance because it's a perfectly straight movement. So if you use your arms, it shouldn't be like this, because this should not move. So either you use them as if you were out skating, because that is how you generate more speed, or you just keep them on the back and relaxed. So use them or don't, but no balancey floating. Yep. All right. Let's go. It's everything that you're not using. So again, think about this. I know it's a drill, but if you skate a whole marathon like this, you're gonna be real tired. I can't breathe. So whatever you're not using, there's no reason to have your shoulders up here or a tense back like this. So keep this active, engaged, but this should just be there. Don't get over tense in muscles you don't need for this. Thing to just have in mind as we now start to like jump a little more, have more movement. Remember, we're not jumping forward. There's a reason I'm not going anywhere when skating like this. So still think of it. Some of you, when you jump from one, especially the thought of just jumping, makes you jump. It is, when we skate, if you see good skaters skate, it's a weight transfer. It's not a jump, it's a transfer. So now today we're gonna work on very quick transfers, but it should still be a transfer, not a jump off to it. So don't think jump forward, think jump, jump from side to side. So next one, maybe you've seen the exercise called like skate jump, which is like, but now we're gonna do that in more calm. We call it caliente tranquilo way. So basically the same, but now it is an actual jump. It is okay if you need time to stabilize. Don't move on to the next jump before you're steady. So don't make it a, oh, okay, I'm just jumping now. Jump, and then if you need it, yeah, we're rolling. So if you need it, use that other wheel, stabilize, find your position, set up a new jump, and then jump. So it is still the minimum amount of jump, I'll just demonstrate, that you can do. So don't go high, don't go crazy. There just has to be a little bit of off the ground. So go into position. So baby jumps. All right? The other leg should not go crazy. If we skate with this, a massive recovery, it's gonna be very hard to not get out of position. And the whole goal is that as soon as we land, we're in a position to push again. So that other leg should be very calm. I'll try and show from the side so you can see that it's not, it's a calm thing. So this, whatever leg is not working, is very relaxed, almost, I mean, as close to the ground as possible. Straight forward, we're just gonna jump higher now. When jumping higher, still keep this as relaxed as possible. Like, pulling this out of position will not do you any good. Pulling it higher, definitely not. So, bigger jumps, whichever, so don't reach for it. Think about the push, and the next thing you think about is the landing. Don't think about the force, just think about applying into the ground. That's a really good question over there. Where should your shoulders be? Because I keep saying like, keep them in the right position, but what is the right position? So unlike weightlifting, like where you're taught to have a straight back, here we'll teach you to have a terrible back. Relax this, because if this is straight like this, I can't use my butt without pushing like this. If you have this under you, engaged, if I push with this leg, it's not gonna go like this, it's gonna go straight down. So let your shoulders relax and keep this tucked in. Not relax like this, but like this. So looking at it from the side, it's hard to like see where you're at with this, but you would want your shoulder and your knee and your toe to be in one line. It's not a perfect vertical line, it's sort of a semi-diagonal line pointing forward. So as you can see, that goes here. Like if you held up a stick here, it would be aligned. The same goes, this one is more obvious, but when you see it from the front, you also want this to be aligned. Like you would want the same kind of fist here, shoulder width between your skates, all aligned. So no cracking in, no cracking out. So those are two really good lines to remember. So the same thing we just did now is learn to apply pressure. The next exercise here is there's no way to cheat in it. We're gonna skate as fast as we can, say till we're here, but you can't lift any wheels off the ground. So obviously there's a lot of things where normal skating, you can just, if you don't feel like you have the energy, you can just sling that a little more. You can bounce a little up and down. For this one, you need to have your hips in the right position. If you open up a hip, the skate goes like this, you have to twist it back in. So for this exercise, you can take one normal step, otherwise it's gonna be really uncomfortable. But you take one step and then so make sure, even though I say it's a race, do not rush it. Don't think of it as getting further. Push as much as you can with each step instead of like small baby steps. Go! Opening up. So again, don't reach away from your push, apply the push. Like same thing as if you constantly move away from it, it's the same as this. You're not going any further. If instead of pushing into the ground, I just lift myself up, also not going any further. So a lot of you open up like this. That's why it goes. Make sure this stays down. This is a tricky one. It's kind of a combination of all the different things, and this is gonna force you to figure it out. So we're gonna race to this line, and for this one you can only have one skate on the ground. So you're allowed to take one step, and then you've got to be on one skate, so whichever way you're gonna create speed on one leg, that's how we're gonna do it. It's a little different, but it's gonna be like learning the feel of your skates. So again, a thing in a race, if you're competing, whether you're doing slalom and marathon, just fun skating with your friends, whenever it gets intense, you won't have the time to think about it, but where do you put your pressure on your skates? I mean, it's already a thing we can tell by looking at you. Some of you tend to have the weight a little too far forward. Some are very, very cautious. They sit like back a little. And the ideal place to have your weight is obviously centered in your skate. Like if you push like this, it's not gonna be ideal. If you push like this, it's gonna hurt your legs. So we're gonna do a couple of minutes of just skating around in a circle here. But the first few minutes, I want you all to put your weight on your toes, like feel pressure on your toes. These are things that are gonna make you a little uncomfortable, but they'll guide you towards what is actually where I am generating the most power. I can tell, I did this myself many times, and every time I get surprised that, you know, I actually like having my weight a little further forward. It's like if you always skate the same way, you'll never find out like what is it I should feel to be more efficient. So it is okay to feel dumb, it's okay to look dumb, as long as you force yourself to skate more with your weight on your toes. So it should look, we're just gonna skate in a big circle here, and it's okay if it looks a little dumb. Like it's supposed to be not comfortable. So first we're gonna do it on the toes, we're gonna group up, and then after we're gonna do it on the heels, which is also pretty uncomfortable. And then after that we're gonna return to 2-3 minutes of perfectly normal skating where all that stuff I said today. Try not to let that like blow your minds, but just try and skate well. To feel things, because it's so easy being stuck in bad habits. And again, the more you skate, the older you get, the easier it is to get these habits and the harder it is to ruin them. So the amount of times where I hear from my coach like, oh, maybe position a little more like that, a little more like that, it's so hard for me to change because I've done this movement literally a million times. So it takes more sometimes to really change things. And I mean, that's more. That's where we want to get. So you can only do this too little, okay? Let's go for 3 minutes of awkward heel skating. The thing about things like this, sometimes, you know, what you have in mind as comfortable is not necessarily the fastest. Okay, now I'll give all of you 3 minutes, skate around in a normal way, comfortable, whatever speed feels good, and get some water, and we're gonna move on to the final little thing for tonight. So we're gonna do it again. 3 minutes of weird skating, times 2. The first one, I want you to have your upper body as far down as you can. It doesn't mean to skate like this. You should still be skating properly, but just slam that upper body down. So not like this, but like this. As up as you can. You can't look dumber than that, so you're good to go.
You want to join Sophia and I for 2.5 days of skating workshop. We're gonna come back to Duluth and also Minneapolis. It's gonna happen on May 16th to May 18th and May 23rd to May 25th, 2025. Still spots available for both camps. It's gonna be super fun. All levels are welcome, and we just look forward to skating with all you guys and sharing some cool skating knowledge. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like, you know the drill. See you around, guys.